No matter how digital your system is, you still have to deal with incoming paper. What do you need to have on hand in order to effectively and efficiently get that paper into the digital side of your system? Let's talk. No matter how many e-statements you sign up for, you're always going to have paper coming in that you have to deal with and process. People will still mail you stuff. The kids are going to bring stuff home from school. They're going to draw pictures for you that you have to save forever. Now, my preferred way of handling this is to turn it into something digital that I can then track on the digital side of my system. Now, the first thing you're going to need is a scanner. We'll talk about that in just a second. But there are some other things that you should have on hand to make your scanning process go that much more smoothly. Now, you're not going to need every one of these tools every time you scan, but you should have them close by. There's nothing worse than being in the middle of a project and having to stop because you have to go track something down. You should have a dedicated space where paper goes while it's waiting for you to scan it. What you don't want to do is just have a corner of the desk where you set things and let it pile up. It's disorganized, it's clutter, and it's too easy for you to lose little pieces of paper and never see them again. Your storage solution can be something as simple as just a manila folder that goes on the corner of your desk. Slip the paper inside, just keep it nice and contained. This folder lives at the front of the filing cabinet that I have right next to my desk. It's one of the folders that goes right in front of the time machine. It's handy, it's easy for me to slip things in, easy to get to them when it's time to scan, and in the meantime, it's out of the way. Now, if you have a big enough desk or enough paper coming in, yeah, you can pick up one of those inbox trays that they sell at office supply stores. But the temptation there is to start putting other stuff inside of it that's not stuff waiting to be scanned. There should be a place where things go while they're waiting to be scanned, and only things waiting to be scanned go there. So the first thing you're going to need is a scanner. My scanner right now, I'm rocking the Doxy Pro. I love it. It's nice and compact. I don't leave it set up all the time. I put it away. I get it out when I need to scan something. It is a full duplex scanner, which I really like because that means that I can capture both sides of the page in one pass. Now, what if you don't have a dedicated scanner? Should you go right out and buy one? No, just hold on. Odds are you've got a perfectly good scanner within arm's reach. You might even be using it to watch this video. The cameras on modern cell phones are amazing. They have been for years. And whether you use iOS or Android, you can get an application for your phone that will turn the photo that you take into a really good scanned document. You're not going to get as good of results as you will with a dedicated paper scanner, but it's handy. And you already have it. So if you're just getting started, just start with your phone. The second thing that you're going to want to have on hand is a letter opener. This is Sting.
I'm not actually sure it is a sword. More of a letter opener, really.
This is close by. In fact, normally this is actually sitting on the shelves behind me. I pulled it over so I could show it to you up close. I don't know if this is in focus. It's not focusing. A lot of the time when you're scanning, it's because you're processing the incoming mail. You're going to need something to open up that envelope. You'll want to pick up a staple remover. It's simple, it does one thing, but it does it really well. If a document is stapled together, you can't put it through a document feed scanner. If you're using a flatbed scanner or even your phone, yeah, you can fold it back, but that doesn't give the results that I want. And sometimes that fold is going to obscure content. You're better off just pulling the staple out. Now, if you're pulling the staple out, you might also need to be able to put the staple back in. I like this one because it stands vertically on the desk and I can just grab it like that, staple the papers. If you want one that lays flat on the desk, that's fine too. You do you. Next, you want to have a pen on hand, or specifically 3. I like keeping a red pen nearby. It's nice for just marking things up. Already paid the bill? Just jot the date that you paid it across the top, then scan it. I like keeping a highlighter nearby, so important things like the date that a bill is due or the statement date, something like that, just call out attention where I need to. Keep a yellow highlighter. And third, a Sharpie, so that I can redact things that I don't want to show up. Now, all 3 of these you can do by editing the PDF afterwards, but it's often a lot quicker to just grab a pen and take care of it before you scan the document. You especially need to be careful about redacting information. If you don't, you can redact with a PDF editor, but if you do it wrong, the information is still there, it's just invisible. If you redact the text before you ever scan it, there's nothing that you need to hide. It's already gone. Just be sure you give it a second for the ink to dry before you put it through the document scanner. Yeah. A lot of the receipts that you get can be filled up with a lot of junk and fluff and advertising that you don't actually need to capture. You just need the interesting bit that it needs filed for the expense report. So keep a pair of scissors nearby so you can just snip off the uninteresting parts of the receipt. It'll go a lot faster. Now, I also like to have this pair of scissors nearby. I'm not actually sure what the proper name for this is. I picked it up from a crafting supply store, scrapbooking. It's got a little guillotine on it. I can slide I can slide back and forth. It does a fantastic job of making straight cuts along the full length of a document if you need to trim it and crop stuff out. Again, cropping stuff, that's another thing you can do with the PDF after you scan it, but if you're not careful, the original information is still there and you haven't actually gotten rid of anything. Keep some Scotch tape handy. That way, if there's any tears in the page, you can give them to lay flat, you can put things back together, and it'll go through the scanner smoothly. Once you're done scanning, the document is going to go in one of two places. If it's not a sensitive document, you can just put it in a waste paper basket like this one. At the end of the day, take everything that you've collected and put it in the recycling. Let it go on its way. Now, sensitive documents like banking or insurance, things that have account numbers on it, those you don't want to just throw out in recycling. Sensitive documents like that should be shredded. Now, I do this frequently enough that I've got a paper shredder sitting in the corner of the office back there. It's actually in the laundry hamper underneath that blue light shining up at the calendar. There's a paper shredder in there. Now, again, a paper shredder is not something that you should just go right out and buy. If you find that you're going to be using it a lot, by all means, go ahead and pick one up. But until then, you can take it someplace like the UPS store or FedEx office, and they're happy to shred it for you. Congratulations, you've now turned that document from a piece of paper into something digital. Go ahead and give it a good name, file it in the appropriate place, and let it become a part of your digital system. It can be archived for future reference, it can go into a projects folder, things you're actively working on, send it up to a cloud so it can be shared with other people who need access to it. It's now a part of your digital system and it takes on new life. And because it's no longer a physical piece of paper you have to keep track of, storing it is not going to clutter up your workspace. Thanks for watching. I'm Colter Reed. I'm here to help you get the day-to-day out of the way so you can stop chasing the dream and start living the dream. If you want to know more, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you get notified whenever a new video is available. If you thought this video was helpful, why don't you give it a thumbs up? That'll help other people discover it. Before you go, why don't you check out this video? YouTube thinks you'll enjoy it. Or go outside and take a walk. It's a nice day. Or curl up with a blanket and be glad that you don't have to go outside today. I don't know what your weather is there. I'm just a guy on YouTube.